I'm on top of the world, eh? I'm on top of the world, eh? Waiting on this for a while now, paying my dues to the dirt. I've been waiting this long, eh? To hold it in for a while, eh? Take you with me if I can. Been dreaming of this since a child. I'm on top of the world. I've tried to cut these corners, tried to take the easy way. I kept on falling short of something. I could have gave up then, but then again I couldn't have. 'Cause I've traveled all this way for something. I'll take it in, but don't look down. 'Cause I'm on top of the world, eh? I'm on top of the world, eh? Been waiting on this for a while now, paying my dues to the dirt. I've been waiting this long, eh? To hold it in for a while, eh? Take you with me if I can. Been dreaming of this since a child. I'm on top of the world. 'Cause I'm on top of the world, eh? I'm on top of the world, eh? Waiting on this for a while now, paying my dues to the dirt. I've been waiting this long, eh? To hold it in for a while, eh? Take you with me if I can. Been dreaming of this since a child. And I know it's hard when it's falling down and it's a long way up. Get up now, get up, get up now. And I know it's hard when it's falling down and it's a long way up. And you think around me, get up now, get up, get up now. 'Cause I'm on top of the world, eh? I'm on top of the world, eh? Waiting on this for a while now, paying my dues to the dirt. I've been waiting this long, eh? To hold it in for a while, eh? Take you with me if I can. Get up into this since a child. I'm on top of the
Get on your feet and congratulate Miss Deborah Rossick and welcome her to the stage. Yeah. The fact that you can have pictures in that shirt is epic. I don't know if you know, but when I call you to the stage, my goal is to just totally jack you up and make you bawl cry so that you forget everything you're supposed to say and you actually just speak from your heart. So here she goes.
Wow. And I was more excited about the video I was going to get than actually talking. Allie pointed out a lot of things already in the video that I was going to speak about, but I did always, let me back up for a second, because if something is important to you, you will find a way. If it's not, you will find an excuse.
Yes.
And I am the queen of excuses. If there is an excuse out there, I've used it. I'm lazy, I'm tired, I don't have time, I'm a single mom, I'm a single woman. Who cooks for themselves? Like, I mean, for real, like I was working in a restaurant, so at the time, my meals consisted of whatever they made for the guys in the kitchen, which was usually pasta, or a bowl of cereal when I got home from work. So, cereal, cheap, easy, you know, my son loves it, so whatever, that's what I ate. I was out of shape, but I had always wanted to train for triathlons, and my goal was to complete one, not well, but to cross the finish line by the time I turned 40. I didn't know how to do it. I had no idea how to begin. I didn't know anybody in the sport. Well, everything happens for a reason. And when you put things out into the universe, somehow, some way, they end up appearing. So, being a single woman, I went out there, and yes, I will admit, I did some online dating, and I got involved with a gentleman who was a triathlon trainer, or at least so he said. So, I met him in December 2012, and I got back in the pool after 24 years. I got back on the bike after I don't even know how long. And my biggest struggle was always that I was not a runner, ever. Like, I ran to the mailbox and that was it. So, yeah, for real. So I was like, all right, so I've got the swimming down, I've got the biking down, now how do I run? So we trained. I was working part-time in the restaurant, so training really wasn't an issue at that point, but I was lazy, okay? Now, of course, dating a good-looking guy is a lot of motivation, so 2 to 3 hours behind him on the bike was a little bit easier than most would think. Hey. But then when the run came, he left me in the dust, and most of the time I ended up walking. But I did my first triathlon in April of 2013. It was a sprint, so for those of you that don't know, it was a 750-meter swim, a 13-mile bike, and a 4-mile run. I was most scared about the run. I thought I was gonna die. But with the run, unlike the swim, you can stop and walk. If the swim, you'll drown. So, so everything's fine. Everything's fine. But I completed it, and I completed it just under 2.5 hours, which was my goal time. Now, again, like I said, I really just wanted to finish. But I did, and I was very proud of myself at that point. But I continued to train, and I signed up for a longer race, which was about double that, for August. That was what I refer to as my A race. So between April and September, I actually completed 6 races that year. But when I was training for my big race in August, 2 weeks before that, I actually found out that my boyfriend and trainer had been cheating on me for months. And so 2 weeks prior to that race, I basically stopped training. I did nothing. I tried to force myself to run. I tried to get myself back on the bike, but I couldn't. So when it came to my race day, I walked half of my run. It was a 6-mile run, and I walked half of it. Talk about defeated. But I finished it, and I came in second, because there's 2 people in my age group. But I podiumed, and that's what matters. After that, I had signed up for one more race, which was the weekend after Labor Day. But on Labor Day, my life changed. I walked in to my very first live Insanity class at the Downtown Y with none other than Allie Upham. Because I, like probably most of you, stalk her. But I was scared to death. Oh my God, Insanity is huge. Like, I was a triathlete. I swam, I biked, I ran. I swam with alligators, and that woman scared the crap out of me. Right? I walked into that class, I looked at her, I was like, I'm scared. She's like, don't be scared, you'll be fine. So I took my place in the front row, and I high-kneed it to the bathroom. Halfway through the class, just so I could sit down for 30 seconds. That picture that you saw of me and Allie, that was from that class. That was Labor Day of 2013. Again, I stalked her. She posted some things about some challenge groups. I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. We talked a little bit, and when I talk about follow-up, it took 3 times for us to contact each other before I actually got involved in her challenge group. So those people that don't get involved the first time, keep after them. Because I needed someone that was gonna help me. I needed someone to teach me how to eat, to teach me how to work out, and to hold me accountable. January 6th, my life changed. I didn't know what a challenge group was. I didn't know what I was getting involved with. All I knew at that moment was I had a bag of chocolate Shakeology and 1 Turbo Fire CD. 1. I had Fire Starter, okay? I didn't even have the workout. I had the, hey, this is what you're gonna do. So if you can't move, just follow me. But Allie and I talked about it. We decided that we would do, for myself, getting ready for my first half marathon, which was the 2nd week in January, because somewhere along the line I decided that would be a good idea. I decided that I would join with Allie. We would do 20 to 30 minutes of running every other day, and I would do my Turbo Fire DVD along with my Shakeology. I started counting calories. I met some amazing people. Juliana, my success partner, not only in my challenge group, but also coaching is my life. And I worked out with Allie every morning. So when we talk about not having time, at this point I had a full-time job. I live in Lakeland and I work in Lake Mary, so on a good day it takes me an hour and a half. On a bad day it takes me 3 hours. So when I say I don't have time, I don't have time. I have a son. I have him about 50% of the time. So on the mornings that I didn't have him, I would get up, I would do fire starter, or I would go to the gym in the morning. I would work out at lunch. I would run after work. The nights I loved the most was when I would get home from work and I would put my Turbo Fire DVD in and I would work out with Allie while my son stared at all the women in the video. He's 13, by the way. 2 weeks later, now keep in mind, when I did my race, I had been training for triathlons. That's what I did. I didn't train from my last race in September until January 6th. 2 weeks later, I ran my first half marathon in 2.5 hours, and I did not stop. After that challenge group, I didn't know what I was going to do without them. A couple of us got together and went, yeah, this isn't going to stop. So when Allie came back and said, hey, guess what? We're just rolling into another one. I was like, yes. Actually, at that point, I signed up as a coach, and as a coach, I bought the 21-day fix. So Robbie really likes that video.
He hearts Autumn.
He does for Autumn. Oh my goodness. So I finally was getting my nutrition under control. I had been counting calories, but when Autumn really put it into those little cute little containers, it was so easy. It was foolproof, and my nutrition was finally under control. I ran another half marathon, taking 10 minutes off my time. Of course, that was at Daytona Beach, and Jimmy Johnson was running, so, I mean, I had to keep up with that boy. It was amazing. At the end of those 6 weeks, I lost 14.5 pounds and 32.5 total inches. I felt like a rock star. So that, my darlings, is my story. If the excuses are 1,000,001, if there's an excuse out there that someone has told you, I've used it myself. If they want it bad enough, if their why is big enough, they will make it happen. It's not about a pant size. It's not about, ooh, I want to fit in my bikini. No, those will go away. When you know that something has to change because the depression is sinking in, it's gonna change your life. Because when you set your heart into it, there's nothing that you can't do.
I love stalking people. It's so great.